Marvel has quite a few projects in development right now. What is happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So in this video I'm going to be doing sort of a ranking video, but in a tier list form, and this is going to be listing off the Marvel Cinematic Universe projects that are currently in development. This is going to be ranking them by how excited I am about these. So like I was saying, it's going to be in a tier list form. The different tiers that we have is needed now, hyped, I'm interested, and do not care. We have quite the list of projects to get through, so let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off first is going to be X-Men 97 Season 2 and Season 3 now in development. This is going to be a needed now tier list project because first season of X-Men 97, wow, amazing, awesome. It was amazing, awesome. Sort of continuation of the original X-Men animated series from the 90s. I love what they were able to do with this X-Men 97 Season 1, and I'm definitely excited to see what they do with Season 2, especially with the tease that they left us on with Season 1. It's definitely sort of teasing characters or maybe a storyline they could be going down, so it's going to be very interesting to check that out. So this is a Need It Now project. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the newest animated series for the character of Spider-Man. And this one is going to go into the interested tier. I wouldn't say I'm quite super hyped for this one, but I'm a little interested. I'm a little curious to see what they're going to be able to do. Recently, they announced that Coleman Domingo will be voicing Norman Osborn, and he'll be playing kind of an interesting character in this new series to where he might actually be a sort of mentor to Peter, or sort of be his technological support, sort of the guy in the chair for him. So it's gonna be interesting with that development and that dynamic between them. And got like a slew of other characters going on in there. There's also Doctor Strange being teased in here, and the Daredevil being voiced by Charlie Cox himself also in here. So it's gonna be very interesting. I'm a little interested. I'm a little curious to see what they're going to be doing with this animated series, but they haven't really announced when it's going to be coming out. There's been rumors of it might come out later this year, it might be next year. So we'll just wait and see when it's actually coming out. We got another animated show, and that's going to be Eyes of Wakanda. This one is definitely going to be into the interested tier when it comes to the land of Wakanda. I'm always interested in delving into, the history or their land, of how they just progress and everything. They're so technologically advanced that I'm always curious and interested in seeing that. I love Black Panther, the character of Black Panther, so being able to see different versions of that possibly in this series is definitely interesting, and I'm very hyped for that. And that they're talking about this series to where it's going to have sort of implications from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to where it's taking place different times. I think they were saying it's going to be about 4 episodes long, I think they said. But it's very curious. The animation looks great. I'm definitely curious and interested in this. And we have the Wonder Man series. This one is going to go into the interested tier. I'm a little interested. I'm seeing what they can be able to do. I wouldn't say I know a whole lot about the character Wonder Man. I do know of the character, and I am familiar with him. And it's very interesting that they got Yahya Abdul-Mateen playing him. So I'm very interested and curious to see what he can be able to bring to the role. And bring to this character. One thing I was hearing about this series was that it did wrap filming already, so it'll be interesting to see when we actually get this series. We get to Ironheart, and this one goes into the interested tier because I'm still interested in the series, but I feel like this series is definitely long overdue. Like, it should have came out like a long time ago, like probably a little after Wakanda Forever, after you introduced the character of Riri Williams in that movie, and she should have got this series back in like at least 2023 sometime, to be able to continue that hype of that character. But we're not getting this series until 2025. Late 2025 is, being speculated as the release date for this. That's a whole 3 years after Wakanda Forever. That's a little long, especially when you're trying to build hype for this character of Ironheart. And I'm still interested and curious about this series, but I wouldn't say I'm like super hyped or anything like that. I want to see how she does progress with this within the MCU, and where they take her character forward. I'm interested in that and seeing that, So we'll see how that goes with this series. And we got the newest Fantastic Four, renamed to Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, this one I'm definitely going to be hyped for. I've been waiting for a great Fantastic Four movie, so I'm really looking forward to this one and hoping for the best, hoping they can be able to turn out something great. And the cast looks good. I'm liking the cast so far. Being able to see what they're going to be able to do, be able to play well off each other, the dynamic between these characters, and basically essentially being Marvel's first family. I'm very curious on seeing where they could be able to take this movie. We got some little snippets here and there at San Diego Comic-Con recently. Galactus we're getting in this movie, so it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that. The way that they're playing into the whole 60s style of retro futuristic style of things. It's going to be very interesting. They're teasing that this probably will take place in a different universe. So it's very interesting what they're going to be doing with this new Fantastic Four movie. I'm definitely curious and hyped and interested for it. So we'll see where they go with that. And we got Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4. And this one is going to go into the need it now tier, but not for the reason you might think. This is a movie to where we do need it now, but it's not because I'm hyped for it. Well, I am in a sense hyped for the character of Spider-Man always. But in a sense of this movie for Spider-Man 4 to where we need it now, to where we need this movie at least soon, or at least we needed this movie to get rolling, because it's definitely in developmental hell right now, to where it's like we don't have no directors or writers. We don't know what's going on with this character. We don't even know what they're playing with this character of Spider-Man, or where they're going to go next with this character Spider-Man. They had a good track record of putting a Spider-Man movie out every 2 years, starting with Homecoming in 2017, Far From Home in 2019, and then No Way Home in 2021. So really, if they were keeping that track record, we should have had another Spider-Man movie already. But of course, strikes do lend a hand into delaying the movie itself, and other things among that too. But still, they got no director announced, no writer, no story or anything going on still, and it's already 2024. And this movie is like, even if they were to start filming by the end of this year, we won't get that movie until late 2025 or even into 2026 at the earliest. So the way that this movie is just playing it out, to where it's like, I put it into the tier of needed now, just because that we do need this movie already, or at least somewhat something announced to when we're getting it, because they are just stalling too much for this character of Spider-Man, that we need another Spider-Man movie already. So for that reason, it goes into the need it now tier, but not for the same level of hypeness as some other stuff. And one thing I really did like is the way they ended No Way Home, to where it basically seems like he's going to be on his own from now on, and that's the Spider-Man I like to. That's the type of Spider-Man I like to see, to where Spider-Man is sort of on his own. He's this adult character, to where trying to make ends meet, but he's also Spider-Man. So it's very interesting how they left that off, to where it's like kind of teasing that, and it looks like he's going to be maybe on his own in this next movie. So it'd be very interesting to see that. But like I said, this is a movie that they should have been announced already, or got things rolling already, and we don't have any of that. We get to Daredevil Born Again, and this one is definitely going to be in the need it now tier, just basically off of the things that they were saying. I really do enjoy the Netflix series and what they did with that, especially when it came to like season 3. Man, season 3 was such a good season for Daredevil, and I really enjoy some of the things they're saying so far about this new series, to where we got the cast returning. A lot of the returning cast for the Netflix series is coming back, especially with John Bernthal's Punisher. That's definitely going to be exciting that he's going to be a regular in the series. That'll be very interesting to see that. And then all the other characters coming back, Foggy, Karen, of course, Wilson Fisk is coming back, Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back, Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil, of course. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that, to where we have the returning cast for the Netflix series coming back and be able to be in this new series. And just some of the things that they're talking about is really hyping me up for this new season, to where they definitely seem like they're going to be, along the lines, or at least a little bit on par with the Netflix series on where they exactly how far they go with it. And I remember recently at D23, Vincent D'Onofrio was over there talking about his character of Kingpin, to where he was like saying, "Oh, we filmed this one thing to where it really was something that Kingpin did, to where it's like, oh, I'm surprised they even made that cut, like it made the cut, that scene." And it's like, it's something that we never did a Netflix series, or took it too far in a Netflix series, and I'm surprised they made the final cut. He was all saying that, so I'm definitely hyped for that. I want to see what they're talking about, see what they're going with that. So I'm definitely hyped for this new series of Daredevil Born Again, coming out in March 2025, I believe. So I'm hyped for this. And we have Agatha All Along. This one's coming out fairly soon, and this one goes into the interested tier. It wasn't necessarily a series I was asking for. I mean, I do like the character of Agatha and all, but like, I wasn't really asking for a series for her specifically. But I'm a little interested and curious to see where they go. The trailer looks pretty good, got me a little curious on what they're going to do with the series, and where they take the character herself in the MCU and all that. So I'm a little curious and seeing what they're going to be doing in this new series. I would say we definitely probably should have gotten this series a little sooner, like, probably shortly after WandaVision. But nonetheless, we're getting it fairly soon now, so. And we have Blade, the Blade movie. Oh, man, what to say about this one? I mean, I'm still hyped for this movie, of course. I'm pretty much going to stay hyped for this movie, but like my my hypeness level has dwindled down over time from this movie's just being in developmental hell. Like the way that this movie's just been playing out, where we have a directors leave, we get a new one, they leave again, and just so many directors going through the cycle, so many writers going through the cycle. Mahershala Ali is, getting kind of frustrated that this movie's taking so long, and I don't blame him. So I really do believe he's going to play a great Blade. I really do believe he will, and I'm definitely curious and interested in seeing what he does with the character. But the way that this movie just has been through the ringer for being in development, and it's like my hypeness level dwindles every time this longer. Every time that this movie gets delayed more and more. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get this movie. It's supposed to be coming out next year in November. I don't think we're getting this movie next year in November. I think this is probably going to get delayed again, and I just wish this movie would come out. Like, I'm not going to believe this movie is real until I'm actually seeing it in theaters. That's how the level that I'm at right now, to where I won't even believe it until I'm actually seeing this movie in theaters and it's coming on screen watching it, and that this movie is going to be real. I am hoping for the best, so hopefully we get it. Hopefully we do. We have Armor Wars, and I don't even know if this is still going to be continuing on to be a movie, or I think they moved. It used to be a series, but they moved it to a movie. If they do continue on with doing this project and it comes out, I'm a little interested in it. They're saying that Don Cheadle will probably be playing like the main role of this movie as War Machine. And I'm a little interested in seeing where they take the character, or what they're going to be doing in this movie, or, what they're going to be doing. They haven't really announced anything for this movie yet. Like, Ray San Diego Comic-Con already came and gone. They didn't announce anything for that. D23 came and gone already too. They didn't say anything there for this movie. So I don't even know if this movie's going to be coming out. I mean, it's very, very interesting to see what they do, but I don't even know if this movie's going to come out. There hasn't been any news on it lately at all. So if they do announce that this movie is definitely coming out, then I'm at least interested and curious about it. We have Avengers Doomsday, and this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con with the return of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as the character of Doctor Doom. I'm a little interested and curious, but it's, on the other hand, it's like, why are they doing this? Why are they bringing back RDJ as Doctor Doom? Like, is it a ploy, or is it something that they think they need to do to get fans back, or, with his return or something? I don't know exactly. Like, I'm kind of open and interested in seeing where they take the character and what story they do with this. But on the other hand, when you're watching this movie and all you see is Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, you're going to be thinking, oh, that's Iron Man or whatever, and it's going to be hard to distinguish those two characters apart, really, basically based on the actor that's playing them. So it's going to be hard to do that. We got the Russo brothers returning, so I'm definitely interested and curious in that. That's definitely hype levels, for them coming back, because, they always put out a great Marvel movie, so that's very, very awesome that they return. But other than that, I'm not sure who the Avengers are at this time. Like, who are the Avengers at this time? What they're going to be doing in this newest Avengers movie, or what team do we get? So this one does go into the hype level, or hype level tier, but it's just something that's where I need to see a little bit more. I need to see where they go with this movie and see what else they're going to be doing. And speaking of Avengers Secret Wars, that's the next movie we got after. That's the next Avengers movie we get after Doomsday. This one does go into the hype tier. And this is just basically for some of the same reasons, to where I need to see who the Avengers are right now, what team are we getting, what they're going to be doing in this movie. With Secret Wars being the whole title, it's going to be very interesting to see this whole Secret Wars storyline going on. And with the Russo brothers returning, I remember in an interview back a couple years back, they were saying, like, if they ever return to Marvel, or to return to make another Marvel movie, that the movie they will want to make is Secret Wars. So they are getting their wish with that. So with them returning, I'm definitely excited and hyped for it. But I just want to see, I just need some more information on where they're going to take these characters, where they're going to take the story and all that. And we have Nova. I wasn't sure. So far, I've been hearing that this is going to be a series or a special presentation. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I'm interested, at least interested, somewhat interested and curious in this. I'm familiar with the character, so it'll be very interesting to finally get him into the MCU and seeing what they do with his character. Captain America Brave New World, and this one's going to go into the hype tier. I'm definitely hyped for this one, especially after that trailer that we got. Definitely looks like it might dive into the aesthetic, or, the vibes of Captain America Winter Soldier, so hopefully they can be able to do that. That'll be very interesting if they could do that. Seeing Sam Wilson return as Captain America, finally in his own Captain America led movie where he's basically the lead role is going to be awesome to see on screen. Harrison Ford coming out as Thunderbolt Ross and as Red Hulk, as they revealed that he's going to be Red Hulk in this movie, so that's going to be very interesting to see that in the movie, and I'm hyped for that, definitely. Maybe we'll finally get some Tiamat questions answered, and also too the introduction of adamantium. That's going to be very interesting to see in the movie, so I'm at least hyped for this movie. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I'm hoping for the best. And we have the Thunderbolts, and this one goes into the interested tier. We have a great cast of characters coming back, returning characters coming back, likable characters returning. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that, seeing those characters return. I'm not sure what the story is, what they're going with, but this is sort of a obscure team that they have going on, to where we have all these other background, more side characters, or at least they're the likable side characters that we had, and they're forming their own team. I don't know exactly what the story is going with so far, but I'm at least interested in see where they take this movie. Shang-Chi 2. Now this one is going to go into the interested tier, just because the movie has been announced, but we haven't got any development or anything on this movie yet. We don't even know when the next time we're going to see the character of Shang-Chi, whether it's going to be in this sequel or we'll see him sooner than that, or an Avengers movie, or what. They haven't done anything with the character of Shang-Chi, and I really did like and enjoy the first movie and what they did with it, but we haven't got any information, new development stuff on this next movie. We don't know when it's coming out. We don't know anything as of yet, or what story is, or anything like that. Pretty sure that Destin Daniel Cretton is going to be returning to direct, but other than that, we don't really know too much about this. So, I mean, I'm interested because I did like the first movie, and I do like the character, so it at least goes into the interested tier. And we have Vision Quest, and this one is going to go into the tier. I will watch it because it is Marvel, so I'll watch it, but I don't really feel like Vision needs his own series. I like the character of Vision. I definitely want to see him come back. I want to see Paul Bettany return as the character of Vision, whether it be in a movie or something. But I don't really see a Vision series, like I don't see the character really getting his own series, or why he would need his own series, so that's why that goes into the end here. And we have the final thing, that's going to be What If Season 3. Supposedly this is going to be the last season of What If. This one goes into at least the interested tier. I'm always at least somewhat curious and interested in seeing what they do with the What If. And then the previous seasons that we got are good. They're good little animated shows, episodes that we get with those. I've never been at a hyped level for the first two seasons. I'm definitely interested and curious in seeing what concepts they try to do, or what new ideas they try to do in this whole what if scenario. I'm always interested in that, and I'm interested in seeing what they do with that with season 3, what concepts, ideas, or anything like that they end up doing in the season 3 of What If. But it's never been at a level to where I'm super hyped for this series or anything like that. But I always do check them out. I always do check out the newest season and see what they do, and at least somewhat interesting, curious to see the whole new concepts and ideas that they come up with. Forgot about Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies is a new animated series that's going to be coming out pretty soon, based on one of the episodes of What If, and basically it's going to be rated TVMA, so that's going to be very interesting. This definitely goes into the interested tier. Seeing the zombies and Marvel characters turn to zombies, that's going to be kind of cool and awesome, so we'll see how that goes. So that is, as of right now, the most of the projects that we have in development for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's how I would rank them based on excitement in a tier list form. But let me know down in the comments below, what are you excited for? What are some of your most anticipated projects in the MCU? But that's going to do it all for the video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know I'm posting our video. Hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you on the next one.